Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Deadlock video. We've got a big one. So we've probably got the biggest patch notes section that we've ever seen. There's a here, let me just scroll through this real quick. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is by far the biggest patch we've ever gotten, more of a balanced patch, kind of a rework on a lot of things, if anything. You'll notice as I kind of go through some of these characters, like a lot of them just like okay, so like Hayes on her dagger, this is just an example. I don't even know what they've done to Hayes. But let's say the first point gets rid of one stamina and then that second upgrade point lowers that cooldown by 14 seconds. They've like swapped it where the first point drops the cooldown, the second point gets rid of the stamina. So a lot of like back and forth changes, and we'll probably skip over quite a few of those just because there's so much going into this. But let's kind of just jump right into it and see what we've got. So gameplay general updates. You can now jump during a slide. Dash jump grants a very brief period of increased air control, which is super cool. Shrine is easier to kill for the first one and harder for the second. And then shrines no longer attack. Heroes under the shrine, cool. Super troopers. Bonus DPS increase percentage. So once the shrine dies, middle range troopers now get upgraded when either of the shrines dies. So it seems like they're just trying to make it easier to end the game. Medic troopers DPS grows, HP regen on the troopers, trooper wave interval increased from 25 to 20. Oh, starting at 35 minutes. Yeah, so we just don't want no more of those hour games. Is pretty much what's happening. So especially if you get a shrine, you're getting a new wave every 20 seconds. And with those obviously 60% buff troopers, that's going to help a ton. Guardian bounty increased, Walker bounty increased. It's going to help your boy. This is obviously a split pusher. Walker's armor DK rescaled. Ooh, to over 18 minutes. That's huge. Okay, cool. So plus 75 minus 50 from over 20 minutes to over 18 minutes. So at 18-minute mark, they should be able to be taken, which is okay. So that's a good thing to pay attention to. Base Guardians bounty, Shrines bounty, mid-boss bounty, mid-boss HP increase, debuff resistance, rejuve drop. Cool. Minimap now indicates if a urn is favored, neutral, or unfavored. Cool. Added a neutral camp at the hidden King Park Walker, York Walker, Zero Way veils underneath the shrine. Oh, Zero Way. That's kind of interesting. Moved the lane bridge above the base. CC reduction. Okay. New tier 1 spirit item, Golden Goose Egg. Do not know what that is yet, so we'll have to see. We can jump into the game when we get back to the end here. I'll edit it in and kind of jump in and see what it is. Extended magazine weapon damage change, high velocity change, long range. Okay, here we go. Here's a cool one. You can now reload while full carrying active reload. So you don't have to have a bullet shot. That's going to be super helpful. That will actually 100% of the time, for the most part, make active reload worth it to me over Quicksilver. Swift Striker fire rate increased. Hell yeah. Haze buff. Mystic Shot scaling. Split Shot cooldown. Came down quite a... 6 seconds is a lot. Cool. Backstabber renamed to Stalker. No longer procs based on angles of attack, but instead in doing bullet or melee damage within 8 meters of a hero target. Okay, that's cool. And then no longer has a proximity requirement for the overtime bonuses beyond the 8-meter proximity. So no matter what, it'll keep ticking. That's huge. Melee charge, Spirit Shredder bullets lifesteal increase, ballistic enhancement. Interesting. Hunter's Aura solo hero multiplier reduced from 3 to 2. But the bullet resist and the fire rate reductions were increased. So basically, it's going to be more effective in team fights, less effective solo. I don't know if that's obviously, it was built to be a solo thing. So slight nerf to Hunter's Aura. Weighted shots now builds from slowing bullets and no longer grants you spirit resist. So obviously a buff that it builds from slowing bullets, but big nerf on 16% spirit resist. Ammo consume charge from minus 30% to just 2 ammo. big, huge buff for Express Shot there. Blood Tribute no longer has a healing reduction. Huge buff. Self-damage was increased by 20%, up from 40 to 50. Spirit Rend cooldown. Spirit Rend lifesteal. Okay. Crushing Fist works with heavy melee abilities. Oh my god, I'm going to kill myself. Viscous is going to be annoying as fuck. Great, that's awesome. Love my life. Frenzy, fire rate increase, spirit resist increase, conditional fire rate slightly reduced, and conditional spirit resist reduced. Spiritual overflow, spirit power increase from 30 to 40, and spiritual overflow now grants 20% duration. Oh god. So wait, does this mean like Infernus is back? That's because that, like, imagine running superior duration and spiritual overflow on Infernus. Your burn's just gonna last for 10 years. And I think I read something earlier about Infernus's burn getting extended too on his 5th point. That's kind of disgusting. Extra health buffed. Fix that. Fix that. Basic. Reduce the thresholds. Life Strike got nerfed beginning game. Same overall towards the end of the game. So same kind of item. They just made it a little weaker earlier. Majestic Leap, Trophy Collector got buffed. Dispel Magic buff, Fortitude big buff. That's a big Fortitude buff. Inhibitor, slight nerf, but then a slight buff. Siphon Bullets now deals 2.5% of the enemy's max HP per bullet instead of a fixed amount. That's interesting. So that really is like kind of like a tank busting. That's cool. That's really cool. I don't know how the percentages work out, if that's like good or bad, but I really like it. Oh, it's still percent of max HP. Interesting. Mystic Regeneration, health bonus, Rusted Barrel cooldown. Yay, I want to die. Slowing Hex now sets the gravity to an enemy fixed to us 20% heavier regardless of their base values. So Slowing Hex buff. Projectile Spiral increase buff. Cooldown reduce. Yeah, Slowing Hex buff overall. Suppressor buff. Spirit Sap buff. Huge Spirit Sap buff. Holy shit. Decay buff. Silence Wave buff. Big Silence Wave buff. Gravity increase from plus 50% to plus 100% when the stun hits the target. Causes airborne targets to fall faster. Cool. So, I don't know. I guess that's a buff. Radiant Regeneration is a buff. Tank Buster buff. Torment Pulse. Nerf. But it no longer hits sleeping enemies to avoid waking them up, so that's huge too. Disarming Hex. Cooldown. Yay me. Huge Magic Carpet buffs. Hell yeah. Ethereal Shift buff. Oh god, we're gonna go back to it. Oh god, no. Cursed Relish. What the fuck am I? Cursed Relic nerf. Vortex Web now has a unit option where it'll vacuum enemies around that target. So you'll see here as we get into the heroes, we're gonna kind of cruise through this quickly just because it's so much. But we'll kind of read through them slowly and kind of see if we can find anything. So bullet damage reduced, so his gun got nerfed. Siphon life nerfed. Life still buffed, but see, T1 increase, T3 DPS reduced. So Abrams got a big nerf. It's looking like, which is super huge. Abrams got his nerf. We can go down and let's see. Bebop. Oh, Apollo. You almost skipped over him. Not leaving the ground. When started on the ground, no longer triggers on trooper neutral damage. Flawless Advanced T2 no longer increases Apollo's lunge speed. Flawless Event now gets interrupted by stun and sleep. Thank God. As someone playing Haze, you have no idea how many times I dagger him and wonder what the hell happened. Okay, so just kind of a rework on him, kind of just like a quality of life change, because then he got a buff to his ult. So yeah, Bebop Hook can now be canceled. Okay, Billy Bashdown radius reduced. T2 changed to but see how some of these are changed. Like they reduced the range immediately, so weaker earlier, but then they upped it by 2 meters. So then it technically at T2 it's a buff. So they've kind of just overall changed it to make them a little bit stronger towards that mid game. Damage reduced. And then the spirit scaling increased, right? So just like overall changes to make weaker earlier, stronger later type of thing. Blasted tooltip simplified, thank God. That thing was so confusing, it's not even funny. Cooldown increased. Okay. So overall, just seems like kind of a rework on the Billy side. Slight nerf to his beginning game, and then kind of just a rework. Calico bullets no longer have gravity. Huge. Now fires an additional pellet right down the center. DPS is the same. Now considered the primary pellet for headshots. Huge. First grenade always lands in the middle. Huge. So kind of like a quality of life change here. So overall, realistically, a buff because you're gonna always hit that center grenade. That center pellet makes it a lot easier to hit headshots on Calico. T2 changed versus barriers. Even while on the ground, that's cool. Leaping slash T2 changed from plus 40 damage to plus 300 souls on hero kill. And then added 60 damage on the T3. Okay. Interesting. Changes on Ava. Celeste, gravity less gravity. Wonderful. So now she can still. Oh, wait, hold on. Air control acceleration reduced 50, 18 to 38, 12. Okay. So she has less gravity, but less air control and less acceleration. Range on her ult reduced. Linger duration reduced by a second, a quarter. Gun now pierces through targets on Doorman. Let's see if there's kind of any big ones I want to hit on. I don't care about Doorman too much. Overall, it seems like Drifter's Rend got nerfed. His Stalker Mark, they got rid of the fire rate on it, but enables 2 charges and 2-second duration, plus 2% bleed, minus 40% healing. So what you'll notice is, so it still has the bleed, but on that mark, instead of adding an additional percentage bleed, it gives minus 8% bullet resist. So it may be worth it to throw that first point in there pretty quickly. Blood Scent now grabs Drifter the same amount of permanent bonus weapon damage, and an isolated hero dies nearby, regardless if he gets the assist or the kill. And then they reduced it from 4% to 3%. Dynamo got overall, I would say, nerfed. I kind of read through this a little bit. Dynamo, they upped his damage on his Connect Pulse, but now the range no longer scales with Spirit scaling, so it's not going across half the map like it was before. His Quantum Entanglement no longer gives fire rate. It no longer reloads ammo. It now restores 1 stamina, bigger range. Overall, I think he kind of got his cooldown. I think he overall kind of got nerfed a little bit, just with his damage build got nerfed. His ult got slightly nerfed. Well, no, the DPS got increased, but the max health DPS got taken away. So overall, kind of reworked on the support side, nerfed on the damage side. Let's see. Graves, more responsive. Nerf the grasping hands, but buff the cooldown. Just kind of some reworks on there. Okay, let's see what we got here. Spirit per boon reduced. That's fine. That's a lot, though. That is a lot. So they can... so Sleep Dagger buff. Sleep Dagger nerf, but I don't really build Spirit Haze anyway, so that's fine. Sleep Dagger cooldown increase. So you see cooldown increase, but if we look down here, T2 changed from minus 12 second to minus 15 seconds. So overall, kind of a nerf on the Sleep Dagger side for cooldown and stamina usage and things like that. But one thing I noticed is when you wanted the extra charges on Haze, you had to run extra charge. Now, T2 changed from plus 10% life steal to enables 2 ability charges. So you have the ability to run additional charges. And then her T3, instead of having the charges and grants 0.5 seconds of invincibility, kind of having like the counter spell, it now just dispels non-alt debuffs and grants 30% life steal for 5 seconds. So for me personally, this to me is a buff. One, I am not talented enough to the 0.5 second of invincibility. It saved me a couple times. I have a couple clips of it, but overall, I think this is a buff for me. Fixation reduced from 0.2 weapon damage per stack to 0.18. Fixation T1 spirit scaling increased. The base damage reduced, weaker earlier, stronger later. Fixation T3 increased from 0.12 weapon damage to 0.14. Okay, so maxing fixation is just going to be stronger right off rip. Haze Bullet Dance reduced from 30% fire rate to 20%, but it looks like right down here you get an increase of 10% on that T2. T3 can fire at additional targets. So now Ricochet T3 is going to be disgusting again. Okay. And Hayes got a buff, in my opinion. So this is the one I'm interested about. So Infernus Napalm damage reduced. I don't care. Let's jump into Flame Dash. Spirit scaling increased. 1 point is the 12-second cooldown, which is dope. Damage on the T2. T3 no longer reduces cooldown. It just grants 1 charge, which is dope. Dash time between charges reduced from 20 seconds to 14 seconds, and then especially if you run rapid recharge in between there. See, this is what I'm talking about. Infernus Afterburn T3 changed from 23 second plus 23 DPS to plus 3 max burn duration. Base duration is the same, but can build up after igniting to grow a max to... Got you. So as I shoot, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, each bullet adds half a second. So if I hit my burn and I have the burn maxed out, but then I hit 6 additional bullets on top of that, it'll add 3 seconds onto that burn. But if on top of that, I'm also running superior duration and the new spiritual overflow, that burn's just going to last for fucking ever. No? Am I wrong with that? That's what it seems like to me. Ivy has 9 to 10% gravity. I don't really care about Ivy too much. Kelvin, Geist, adjusted her self damage, reduce the bomb radius, reduce the cooldown. 4 plus 2. Yeah, so it's the same thing, kind of just some reworks. Lash got some rework. McGinnis got changed stamina speed buckets, which is cool. Mostly on the turrets here. Nerfed on the spirit side for McGinnis here. Mina got fucking obliterated, in my opinion. Stamina cooldown increased. Rake cooldown increased. Changed from 3 to 5%. Slight buff there. But Rake heal per kill, 30 to 25. Spirit scaling, 0.43 to 3. Plus 20 per heal to plus 60 damage. Plus 54 damage in 1 spirit scaling, plus 30 and minus 8 cooldown. And then 1.2 spirit scaling at T3. Her TP minus a meter. Recast went open a little bit. Yeah, I think Love Bite's cooldown increased. Love Bite's damage reduced. Love Bite spirit scaling increased. Spirit damage reduced. Spirit scaling increased. Yeah, Mina just got straight up nerfed. It's like straight up nerfed. Mirage, this is an interesting one to me too. Base damage got nerfed. Fire scarabs are no longer like where you have to throw all 5 within 20 seconds. It's just like a normal charged ability. You can throw them whenever they want. But they now immediately steal the health from the target instead of over time. So instead of like for wave, just throwing out all of them on every single wave, throwing 1 point to scarabs, like you can actually use it to properly steal and throw as many as you need. So I think that's super cool. All right, so fire scarabs no longer have a reduced effect against non-heroes. Cool. Tornado renamed to Dust Devil. Lift duration reduced from 1 to 0.4. Spirit scaling reduced from 0.7 to 0.3. Now slows affected enemies for 30% by 3 seconds. Bullet evasion duration increased. Bullet evasion increased from 25 to 30. 60 damage. Wait, what? So they didn't. No way. So like his minus 14 second, they just got rid of to minus 8 second cooldown. They just added 6 seconds on it. That's bullshit. So yeah, Mirage got fucking heavily nerfed. Mark cooldown increased. Duration increased on the multiplier. Reveal duration increased. Traveler no longer channels. It now has a 3 second delay before teleporting. Taking damage interrupts the ability and puts it on cooldown for 6 seconds. So much for the days of pushing a wave and then running away, and while they're shooting, you're TPing out. Yeah, they nerfed the fuck out of Mirage. Nerfed the absolute fuck out of Mirage. Interesting. Moan, please say they nerfed him into the fucking ground. Okay, let's see. Scorn damage reduced. Scorn radius reduced. Scorn spirit. Jesus Christ. Spirit scaling increased. Oh God. Oh no. Moan Krill Burrow now lets you enter the tunnels. Burrow cooldown increased from 37 to 40 seconds. So overall, like last cooldown reduced. It doesn't even. Oh, so they increased the DPS on combo, but they fucking added a full minute to the cooldown. That's dope, actually. Interesting. I don't care about Page. Don't care about Para. Pocket got giga buffed. Like, look at this shit. Look at this affliction buffs. No longer applies 12% current health damage. That's fine. Increased from 28 to 32. Spirit scaling increased. Affliction cooldown slightly increased. But then after the first point, you actually gain back 5 seconds to where you were before. No longer reduces healing by 40% on tier 2. That's fine. Now increases radius by 4 meters. Tier 3 no longer increases radius. It now prevents all healing. No healing. Fucking giga buff. He Pocket got giga buffed. That's for sure. Fuck Rem. Um, no longer scales with spirit power. That's actually crazy. Sprint speed. So they increased his sprint speed and then made it so it doesn't increase with spirit power anymore. Interesting. Past that, I don't really care about 7 too much. Shiv got his stamina reduced. That's hilarious. Got a gun buff. No more impact damage on knives, but just more DPS. Okay. Silver leap damage. So Telwhack is now being considered a movement ability. Okay. The disarm slower. The duration's increased. Cooldown increased from 35 to 50 seconds. Base health bonus reduced from 100 to 75. No longer grants plus 14% bullet and spirit resistance. No longer grants 2-meter move speed. Resist was increased. Health was increased. I don't really care about Victor too much. Vindictive fire rate no longer scales with spirit power. Bullet damage now scales with spirit power. Ammo reduced. Bullet velocity increased. Stake damage reduced. Assassinate now has a 4-second buffer on impact for bonus credit. That's actually dope. So it looks like they buffed her pretty good to kind of, no, just more some QOL changes. This is where I'm a little nervous. Splatter bounces by default. Cooldown reduced. Spirit scaling reduced, which, oh, it got cut in half. Jesus. Let's see. That's actually such a nice quality of life change. It now has a very brief period where you can't cancel because you're smashing spacebar but something. That's actually really nice. Puddle Punch now grants 30% air control affecting yourself or allies. Charge time increased, which still isn't enough to me. It also has item procs now. All right. Goo Ball can no longer carry Urn. Big nerf. Turn rate improved. Abilities and items, you can use them all the time now. Cooldown increased. Duration increased. Bullet resist reduced. Interesting. Okay, we got Warden Wraith Yamato. So Warden here, we've got bullet growth per boon reduced. So that's around a 15% reduction. So 15% nerf to his bullet growth. All chemical flash reduction reduced. Damage reduction reduced. Damage increased. Weapon damage reduction. Willpower duration. Cooldown. Last stand. Okay, so it looks like to me Warden got a gun nerf ult buff is kind of what I'm reading here, and I could be completely wrong. This is a cool one to me too. Wraith's cards now have a specific suite of special bonuses. So jumping into this, like Spade card 70% damage. Diamonds cut enemy resistances by 8%. Hearts heal you for 75 with 1.25 spirit scaling, half heal on non-heroes. Clubs is 30% slow for 3 seconds. All of the above affects and bounces to an additional enemy within 20 meters on a 1/9 chance, which is dope. Card trick base from 1 to 2. Base damage reduced from 60 to 45. Spirit scaling reduced. Build up now takes 20% longer. Cooldown reduced. Post cast time. A unique sound for each card that is summoned. Full auto duration no longer scales with spirit power. Ew, gross. But they reduce the cooldown. And then they add, also they reduce the cooldown and then reduce the cooldown again on T1. And then added telekinesis cooldown increase, cast range reduced, cast time increased. Telekinesis no longer has a projectile. It now instantly lifts the target for 0.75 and gives you a location on the ground. Location target on the ground. After the 0.75 is over, it'll throw the hero towards that location up to 15 meters away. The target will take 100 damage, 40% move slow, and prevent stamina and movement item / ability usage for 3 seconds. What the fuck? I'm so confused. Power slash being held down no longer automatically fires it. Oh, that's actually really nice. I used to do that shit all the time. You can now parry directly while channeling power slash to fire the power slash and parry at the same time. Power slash ability now has 60% bullet resist while channeling. (21 to 36 seconds). So slight nerf to Yamato, slight buff on her power slash. But other than that, I really do appreciate you guys watching. I think this is going to be some huge changes in the life of Deadlock. But let me go ahead and cancel here. I'm going to jump over into the game, and we're going to look at that new item we were talking about that is called Golden Goose Egg. So we're going to hop over there, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. We've got the Golden Goose Egg here. So there's a 10% damage penalty. You get sprint speed and out of combat regen. But you hatch the egg, gaining souls and permanent buffs. The value of the egg grows the longer you hold it, gaining a permanent buff per 200 souls stored when hatched, 75 souls per minute. So
bought that off a Knickerbocker that was about to get his legs broken.
let's actually go test this. And explore NYC, and let's see if that changes anything.
I see someone appreciates fine craftsmanship.
So it uses it. Interesting. I'm so confused. Oh, souls to gain.
I won't lie. I don't know what that does. But
400.
my kid says all the mystics are buying it.
Gotcha. So you can buy it. Oh, that's okay. So you can buy it pretty much immediately for 800, and then immediately if you want to sell it for 400 just to break even there. But if you want to, you can sit here and hold on to it. That makes sense. It's kind of like playing the long game. Like, hey, I'm not gonna do as much damage in lane, but I'm trying to get those. So, oh, I found new camps. There's one right over here in the corner, and then there's one up here in the top. Let's go see where they're at. I bet they're just up here on top. Yeah, right here. Oh, it's a big camp too. It's not a small one either. All right, cool. So there's an extra camp, tier 2.
Just want to make the shadows embrace me.
But cool. Other than that, I really do appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'd really greatly appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.